What's going on, Whalers fam, and welcome back to another League Night vlog. It is summer season here on the channel, which means we do have new goals for the summer season as well going into league bowling. We're going to be very busy this summer, so you are going to see a more frequent upload schedule for videos. So be on the lookout. Make sure you tap the bell icon on the channel page as well. Also, as you can see on the left side of the screen, my arsenal is showing up. I do carry 5 bowling balls for this season, so I will have 2 bowling bags with me. I just have all my bowling balls because it's better to have everything versus not. So obviously Columbia 300 White Dot, Brunswick Rhino, the new Carbon Lime Rhino, Hammer Radioactive Vibe, the Columbia 300 Beast, and Brunswick Quantum Evo finishes out the 5-ball arsenal. All 5 bowling balls are here in this video. They all don't get used, but you'll see a good chunk of it in certain parts. So the main goal for this summer season is pretty simple. We want to stay above a 180 average. That's going to be the goal. So obviously first night out, the main expectation is to come home somewhere close to 180. So sit back, enjoy the content. New players join us as well. We did lose a player tonight, so there's only 3 teammates with us, but next week we will be back to our full team. But anyways, it's night 1, TGIF Summer Friday Night Bowling. Here you go. Alrighty, after the first game of a brand new TGIF summer season, we're gonna come home with a pretty good score here. Although, as you can see, I'm gonna let the game play out for you. Good little spare you just saw from my dad there. I did set the difference to not applicable only because the other team we were playing does not have set averages. Although at the end of the video, I'm gonna calculate it and give you guys a good projection of how the night ends for us. As you can see, I did double in the 10th frame here, which is pretty sick. We're only going to take 7 on the fill ball. Kind of weird, but nonetheless, 186 is a good start on our road to a 180 average. It's pretty much where we want to be. My dad does come home with a 217, so pretty great score for him as well, as he begins to start bowling better again. He did lose 8 weeks in our TGIF fall season, so this is just catch up for him being in this league and a part of our team. As you can see, the blind score was a 162 as well. The whole team should be back together in next week's video, but nonetheless, a very solid first game. We did come home with the 930 pins knocked down, but we do technically lose this game by only 19, which is pretty close, but also pretty good. I'm gonna let some of these shots play out as well. You are noticing also that my average listed is a lot lower than how league ended from fall season, which was a 163, 164-ish. So because Bull.com, which holds your averages from all your leagues that you've ever played, so since those never got updated, they gave me 140. So this is what I had to work with, which is what it is. But not gonna complain or anything. But that's just what we were given, and that's what I was told to run with. So that's why I was at 140. Although obviously going into next week, it'll be very, very different. Anyways, I'm gonna go right on to game two here. Here we go. Getting back into the game now for game two. We have a strike on the right lane, followed by another one here in the ninth, building up a good foundation frame. We're going to have Joe here, who's one of the newer faces being shown on the channel. A pretty solid strike pushing the 10 pin out of there. We go to the 10th frame now. First ball goes all the way right and then back in for a strike. This one's a bit better, in my opinion. Goes back into the pocket, takes everything down. This is going to be a fill ball. This pretty much seals the 200 game. So we're going to come home with a 200 game, at least one, on the first night of league, which is really cool. We finished game two with a 206 and a 392 series through 2 games so far. My dad will come home here with a 170. And as a team in this one, we will have produced 920 pins on the total, including the handicap we were given tonight. So, solid first two games. We're maintaining that average of 180 through two. Now we just got to figure out how to complete the evening in one piece. That's pretty much the goal. Try to stay in one piece as much as possible. On to game three. Alrighty, well, coming back to you here in game three, as you can see, something that's very, very common is our first ball is a lot of nines. And you see it again here as well. Um, I guess to one way to look at it is we are trying to survive the game despite striking, which is kind of abnormal to have it happen, but the difference here, and at least what I assume, is the reason why the ball ain't striking is because of the way it goes into the pocket, which I'm probably missing just a little bit more, just a little bit more to get it in there. Some of the releases also play a massive difference here too. Maybe game three fatigue, I guess. I don't know. Maybe like 5% fatigue at that point. But as you can see, there's a little carry from Joe on his 10th frame. He'll do it again here. And then he'll go in for a fill shot and come home with a 148. Now for me, we're just trying to stay out of trouble here. This time it is with the radioactive vibe, actually. Still a 9 though, so we just pick this up and move on to the fill shot. Fill shot for some count. This is with the Evo. I think I went over Brooklyn and then left the 10, but as you can see, the big summary here is that pretty much all but two frames have a first ball a 9 or higher. So even though I messed up the second frame completely, it wasn't at all a terrible game, but considering the other two were above 180, but at least we average out to something that's still above 180. So pretty much with all three games considered, I will end up averaging a 182. My dad's going to go up for one last shot here. He does miss the spare, but he's still, because of all the strikes he had, comes home with a 207 in game three. He's off to a great start this summer. We'll have to see what he does in week two. Here's the full breakdown of the stats. These are projection numbers because the stats aren't updated during the summer as early enough. So I did the math myself, put the handicaps in to the best of my knowledge. Our handicaps were kind of figured out ahead of time because everybody on our team had established handicaps going into the evening. So that's how I drew up our numbers. And then the other team that didn't have handicaps, I went in and with the league being 90% of 220, this is basically what I came up with. So I am projecting when the stats come up at some point in the week that it should be somewhere around this. So I think either way though, pretty solid start for us as a team, and I think if we keep up the 900 games going in through week two and forward, we're gonna have a pretty solid season. Granted, it's only 12 weeks. We do lose a week because of a PBA regional coming in some point in either June or July. I don't know which month it is, but 12-week season, so it's gonna probably fly by quick. If you guys liked the video, make sure you tap that like button and hit the red subscribe button as well. It would greatly be appreciated, and I will see you on the next League Night video. Thank you for watching, and take care, Relish fam.